Hello pilots and welcome to MotionRC.com. I'm your product specialist Wesley, and today we have the newest helicopter in the RotorScale lineup. This is the UH-1Y Venom. Very cool little helicopter with the four-bladed rotor head and a four-bladed tail rotor. You'll see that the helicopter is covered in scale details from rivets to all the painting and markings done for you right out of the box. Speaking of the box, this does come with a foam carrying case that holds your helicopter perfectly for transportation. One thing I will tell you is you do have to take the blades off to put it back in the case. It's not a big deal. You also have to put them on whenever you get it. That's the only assembly. Pretty darn nifty. Now, outside of that, it does come with a charger, so you can charge up your included flight battery. And the transmitter is actually rechargeable also. It runs on one 18650 battery in the back of it, and you use a USB Type-C cable to charge it up. So pretty simple there. Now, let's actually talk about going out to fly your Venom and some of the features of the transmitter. Now let's go over the switches first. On the top right-hand side, this is going to be your return to home function of this helicopter. If you have the switch in the off position, it's just in your regular mode. You can fly around, have a good time. If you put it at the bottommost position, that will be return to home. So wherever the helicopter is, it's going to go up to 35 feet when you flip this switch, and then it's going to fly back to wherever it took off from and land where you took off from within about 5 feet. As the helicopter's descending in its landing approach, you can use your cyclic or the right-hand side of the sticks to actually position the helicopter right where you want it as it's coming down. Once it's on the ground, it will automatically power down and be ready for you to pick it up. Just flip it into cut before you get there. Now, speaking of cut, that is on the other side of the top of the transmitter. This is on the right-hand side. There is a switch that has a lock and an unlock. In the locked mode, the main rotor blade cannot be fired up. You don't have to worry about it spinning. This is what you want it on when you're carrying the helicopter or doing any kind of maintenance on it on the table. Of course, if you're working on the helicopter, remove the blades. If there's no blades, it can't hurt you. Like I said, if you have it in the unlock position, that is what you're going to be using anytime you're flying. If you use this switch while the helicopter is in flight, it will turn the blades off instantly and the helicopter will fall to the ground right where it is. This will break your helicopter. This is an emergency feature. You only want to use that, say the helicopter's gotten away from you, you don't know what's going on anymore. I would highly recommend you use return to home before you do this, but if for some reason it's gonna hit a building, a car, a person, whatever, hit it, and this helicopter will fall out of the sky and crash right where it is. So it is a safety feature. Now, below the lock and unlock switch, there's one that's S+, S, and N. S+ is sport mode, which is also known as high rates. This is how much the helicopter will bank and how fast it will go. In the middle position, it's just regular sport mode, which would be your medium or mid-rate. Helicopter won't bank as much. And then in the N mode, that is novice mode, which it's going to have very small movements, even when you really push the stick a whole bunch. That's the mode you really want to start in for your first couple flights. On the other side of the transmitter, on the left-hand side, there's a G, a V, and an M. G stands for GPS mode. In this mode, the helicopter, whenever you let go of the sticks, will hold a perfect position. It will not drift. It will not gain altitude. It will just stay right where you leave it. When you flip it down once to the V mode, that is for visual mode. It's going to use the optical flow sensor on the bottom of the helicopter to once again try and maintain altitude and position. Now, I will say if you're flying over any kind of like concrete or black hardtop, it doesn't do as well with keeping the helicopter perfectly still. But if you're flying over grass, dirt, gravel, that kind of stuff, it does a really good job actually. You can let go of it and it almost feels like GPS mode. So the bottom position is M. That is manual mode. Now, don't be scared. That's not like it's a full collective pitch helicopter that can do flips and TikToks and stuff. What this means is it's just going to disable the GPS and the optical flow sensor at that point. So you're going to have to actually keep the helicopter at the altitude you want with stick input, and you're going to also have to counteract wind hitting the helicopter and pushing it away. It's a lot of fun in this mode though, because you get more bank angle limit and speed than any of the other modes. So if you can fly it in that, have a blast with it, because it is ripping in that mode. Now, down on the bottom side of the transmitter, you've got two buttons, an A and a B. These are your power buttons. You have to hold both of them at the same time to actually turn the transmitter on. Same thing, if you want to turn it off, you have to hold both to turn it off. That way, if you're only holding one or the other, it doesn't accidentally turn the transmitter off while you're flying. That's why there's two buttons. Okay, now that we've gone over all the features of the transmitter, let's go on how to actually power up your helicopter for the first time. So we want our switches, as we show here, locked on the top corner. We want it in for novice mode. We want G for GPS mode on this switch, and we want off for our return to home switches. Once all of that is correct, we can turn the transmitter on by holding the two power buttons. Then, over on the helicopter, all we need to do is pinch on the two side windows and you can pop the front end off. Then, plug in the battery. Now let the helicopter set here for a few seconds. It's going to go through its initialization. Give it a second longer. There it is. Once the rotor head goes flat, we know that it's powered up and initialized. The indicator light on the back of the helicopter will be flashing. If you're indoors, it's probably never going to go to solid green. That means it's trying to look for GPS right now. Now, that's not a problem for what we're showing you today, but when you're at the field, you want that to go solid green before you try and take off. Now, before we go any further, if you're moving field positions, so if you flew it at the house and now you're going out to fly it at the ball field or wherever else, whenever you move locations, you need to do what's called a GPS compass calibration. In order to do it, you're going to take the switch that is your mode selector for GPS, visual mode, and manual mode. You're going to go all the way up and down 3 times really fast. If you get it correct, the backlight indicator will start flashing like a police car. So let's try it. There we go. Put it back in GPS mode, and on the back of the helicopter now, we've got a police car going on. Now we can simply take it and hold it by the main rotor head, spin the helicopter until that turns to a flashing red and green light. Then, once we have that, we can hold the helicopter by the tail straight down, and we can rotate it once again until we get our either solid green or flashing green, depending on if it has GPS signal. Just like that, I have my flashing green light. Compass calibration has been complete. At this point, we're actually ready to go fly the helicopter. So, in order to actually initialize it and make this helicopter ready to take off, flip it to unlocked, put the sticks down into the center, the tail rotor will come on, followed by the main rotor head. Give it a few seconds to get its speed up. Once you hear it level out, it's as simple as adding a little bit of collective stick and the helicopter will lift off the ground. At this point, you can enjoy flying it for a little bit, test it out, take your time. Once you're comfortable with it, if you want to try some of the features of this helicopter, you can always try return to home or any of the other features. Now, that's about it, guys, for what we're going to do here in the bench. For now, let's get it over to the field and I'll show you how this thing flies. All right, pilots, now that we've showed you all around the helicopter on the bench, it's time to actually fly it. We've come out to our local ball field. I have the helicopter powered up and ready to take off. I'm going to get over to my flight station. Let's do this. All right, so at this point, we have the green light indicator on the back of the helicopter. I'm going to be in GPS mode. I'm going to have this in normal mode, unlocked, and up here in the top, I've got this in off. This is our return to home. Once we're ready, we're going to take the sticks down into the middle, And, oh, there it goes. Let it spool, and then add collective to take off. Here you go. And this is GPS stabilized, so I don't have to touch anything, and the helicopter will stay there. Like I said, we're in the slower mode, so here's full stick. See, everything happens kind of slowly. If we ever need to stop, simple as just letting go, and the helicopter will stop wherever it is. Now, to show you some of the things, I'm going to go on and flip this up to sport mode so we get a little more speed. This will give us more angle. Here's the most speed you can get now in GPS mode. Pretty cool, huh? Now, as we get better with the helicopter, we can use this switch. Now we can go to visual position mode. Helicopter will drift a little bit in this mode, but not much, because it's using its optical flow underneath it to keep this in its position and its altitude. But now we also get more bank angle, so you can see we have a little more speed. Still nothing crazy here. There you go. And that's the speed in the visual mode. And like I said, if I let go, it's still going to try and hold where it is. So I'm going to let go, and it's going to stop, even in this mode. Now, if I go to full manual, now the helicopter is really going to drift. See, I'm not touching the controls, and it's taking off away from us in a slow drift as the wind hits it. It's still stabilized in this mode, so it's not like it's a full 6-axis, or excuse me, it's not a full, collective pitch helicopter. It's still stabilized. We can let go, and the helicopter's going to stop, but it's going to drift now. And you have a little more speed, as you can see. Pretty dang cool. And then we can go back to GPS, and now I'm going to show you return to home. So let's say we're flying, and we get this helicopter way over here. Oops, we were flying over to the flagpole. I can't see it for some reason. I'm going to put it in return to home mode. It's this switch up here on the top. Here we go, return to home. And I'm not going to touch this helicopter till it's on the ground now. So you're going to see it goes up to around 30 feet. Now it's going to fly back to where it took off from. And if at any point we need to stop the helicopter, we can always flip it back out of return to home, and it'll stop wherever it is. But it looks good. Now, if you need to move your position in return to home, once the helicopter is descending, you can push forward or backwards to move the helicopter. I'm walking out here to it, not even touching the controls. Boom. Just like that. And that's as easy as this thing is, guys. I mean, if you want one, these are available right now here at motionrc.com. At the time of this video, they're in stock, ready to ship. Guys, I've been Wes from right here at motionrc.com, and until the next video, I'll see you then. Bye, guys.